Hello my darlings, today I'm making leek and cheese puffs. These pastries are something I grew up with and love, and I hope you like them too. The first thing you'll need to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you'll need to chop up and wash 3 leeks. Make sure you wash them real good because they have dirt in all their little crevices. Next, you'll need to put a big pot of water on to boil. Once the water is boiling, you can add your leeks. The leeks will cook for about 10 minutes. Here's the cheese that I'm using. It's a Somerset cheddar. You can use any strong cheddar, but I wouldn't recommend the common American cheddar blocks because they don't have enough taste. I would recommend using a European cheese. You'll need to chop the cheese into cubes. First, cut into half-inch slices, then stack them and cut them into cubes. Next, we need to dice up an onion. Start by cutting off the top of the onion so you have a flat surface to place it on. Then peel the skin off and slice most of the way through the onion, but not all the way to the butt of the onion. Then you'll want to diagonally slice it. Here I'm doing it twice, but you can judge how many times you need to do it based on the size of the onion. You want to make sure to stop a little short so you don't slice all the way through the onion. Then you chop across the slices, which will create the diced onions. Earlier, I boiled some eggs. For hard-boiled eggs, I like to get a rolling boil in the pot and then add the eggs via a spoon. I let them cook for exactly 9 minutes before I place them in an ice bath. An ice bath is just a bowl of water and ice cubes. This will prevent the eggs from continuing to cook. You'll have perfectly cooked hard-boiled eggs this way. Peel the eggs and slice them in half lengthwise. Now I have all my ingredients prepped, it's time to get cooking. I'm going to be sauteing up the onion in some avocado oil. You can use any mild flavored oil you have. It looks like a lot of oil, but we'll also be frying the hard-boiled leeks. Make sure you give the onions a stir every now and then to prevent them from sticking and burning. It's time to add the hard-boiled leeks. Give them a good stir and add your ground coriander. Here I'm adding a half a teaspoon, but you can add more if you want a stronger taste. I'm also adding salt and pepper to taste. While the leeks and onions cook, it's time to prep the puff pastry. Lightly flour your counter and roll out one sheet so it's roughly a square. Then cut the pastry into 4 squares. Mine don't really look like squares, but they'll do. Do the same for the second sheet of puff pastry. Add the cubed cheese to the cooled leeks and onions. I didn't cool it enough this time because I was in a bit of a rush, but if you have time to let it cool completely, I would recommend that. Here I'm making the egg wash that I will use as the sealant and to brush on the top of the pastries. Using a pastry brush, brush the edges of a pastry square. Add a little heap of the Leek and cheese mixture to one corner and then add a half a boiled egg. Make sure you keep the mixture away from the edge of the pastry. Then bring over the other half of the pastry and seal the edges with a fork. If your fork gets sticky from being pressed into the pastry, rub it in a little bit of flour. You want to make sure you crimp the edges really well so the filling doesn't burst out during baking. Once all the pastries are done, you can place them on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper and use the rest of the egg wash for the tops. Place the baking sheet in the oven and bake for 20 minutes or until puffed up and golden brown. Put the pastries on a cooling rack. I would definitely recommend letting them cool down because they are piping hot. These make a great lunch or snack. Today we're having them with a salad. Enjoy them and I'll see you next time. Cheerio, my darlings.